2, 3, funky.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new around here. If you are new, hi, my name is Becca. Please make sure you do subscribe. I literally make videos about anything and everything on this channel, from uni life, general life, Disney, travel when we can, literally everything. So if you are into just chatty, chilled videos, then please make sure you do subscribe. But for today's video, I'm actually going to be starting something a little bit new. Now, you guys know that I literally love talking about basically anything on this channel. A lot of my vlogs are often quite rambly, and I love that. Honestly, like, I love rambling and just chatting to you guys, like literally any given chance that I get. And for the longest time, I've been trying to think of like ways that I could do that as part of like an ongoing series, and so that is where this little video comes into play. I have decided to start a brand new series on my channel. It's going to be called Small Talk because I feel like it fits in well with my channel name and my like name on the internet, which is Becca Small World. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. For a while I was contemplating making this a podcast, and if I'm honest, there is a part of me that still would like to make this into a podcast at some point. Don't know if that will happen right now. I feel like one step at a time. Honestly, I was going to go all in with the podcast, but I just feel like now is not really the right time for that. But yeah, either way, I'm so excited to start this little series on my channel. I'm going to basically be uploading videos, I don't want to say weekly, but just every now and again when I feel like I have a topic that I really want to talk about or share, or just like a discussion that I want to have. It doesn't need to be like anything serious. Sometimes it might be, sometimes it might not be. But to kick things off, I thought I would start off this little first episode with a chat about Disney, because talking about Disney is my favourite thing in the world. You guys know that. It's literally my favourite thing to do. I bore so many people with my conversations about Disney. However, I know that a lot of you guys over here really love Disney and love talking about Disney as much as I do, so I really hope you do enjoy this video, and please be sure to get involved down in the comments. Let's start a conversation, let's have a chat about all the things I'm going to talk about. So yeah, without further ado, go and grab a cup of tea. I have got myself a biscuit brew in my Walt Disney World mug, of course. It's my go-to at this point. And yeah, let's get into the video, shall we? So like I said, I thought I would talk to you guys today about Disney because it's my favourite thing to talk about, and I feel like there has been a lot of like Disney news and updates and things happening in the world of Disney that I can talk about with you guys, which I'm really excited about, because I feel like for a long time, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I used to make videos about Disney a lot. I used to do like my favourite things at Disney. I used to talk about like stuff to do with the DCP, which I'm gonna get onto in a minute, and I'm very excited. But when the parks closed last year and all of the programs got cancelled and everything, I kind of just felt like it wasn't the right time to be talking about Disney. Whereas now I feel like parks are back open, people can go and visit, well, if you're in America and you're lucky and you can go and visit, and exciting things are starting to happen again. So I feel like now is the time to start talking about it. And that leads me nicely onto my first topic, which is the Disney College Programme. Now, for those of you who don't know, if you are new around here, I did the international equivalent of the Disney College Programme 2 years ago now, which I cannot believe it was 2 years ago, and I made tons of videos talking about that, like the process, like what it was like, my experience, literally everything. But last year they unfortunately cancelled all the programmes because of the pandemic and everything. Last week, as I'm filming this, they actually announced that they're bringing the DCP, or the Disney College Programme, back, which I'm so excited about, and that's the first thing I want to talk about. So yeah, when they announced it, I kind of wasn't sure if it was like a reliable source. When I first read it, I kind of couldn't believe it, but the more I was seeing, the more I was genuinely so excited. I think this is such a good step in the right direction for Disney. I feel like when they cancelled the programme, a lot of it was very like premature, and they did a lot of the things kind of in a panic, like cancelling the programme, sending everyone home. Like a lot of that was in a bit of a panic, which is understandable because at the time obviously the pandemic was a very new situation, no one really knew what was going on, and to see that it's being brought back, honestly, is just so exciting. And yeah, something that really warmed my heart was seeing a lot of my friends and people that I follow on Instagram who had had their programmes cut short or cancelled, being able to be given the opportunity to go back and make the magic again. I genuinely, like, it filled me with so much joy. As much as obviously we haven't heard about any international programmes yet, and honestly I don't know when that's going to be. It just filled me with so much joy to see that so many people who were so close to getting to make magic and didn't, or people that got sent home early, are going to get their programs honoured and they're going to get the chance to go and make magic again, which honestly just makes me so happy, and I honestly can't believe it. Like, honestly, I'm so excited about it. With that being said, however, I am really sad that they haven't announced anything about the international programs yet. You guys know, and it is no secret, that if the CRP, which is the Cultural Representative Program, reopens, I will be applying for it. Like, I really want to go and work out in Disney World again. Like, I know for so long I kind of said that I wasn't going to do it and I was over it and like the parks weren't for me anymore, but honestly I don't think I'm ready to like give up that dream. Like, I don't know, I feel like when I first got back from Walt Disney World I was very much over the program. I was exhausted. I had done it and I was like, cool, I've done it, it's an experience. But now I'm so determined to get back out there and work there again that like I cannot wait until I'm able to apply. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that it happens this year. Let me know down in the comments if you're hoping to apply for a program or if you've been accepted onto a DCP. I would love to have a chat with you guys, and if you want me to bring back my DCP videos then please let me know. If you have any questions you want me to answer about the programs then do let me know, because I might do a second Q&A. I know obviously things are going to be a little bit different this time around. For starters, the like application process is completely different to what it was. I don't know if that will be the case for international programs, but I'm assuming it probably will be. Also with housing, that's another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So obviously Flamingo Crossings opened, and firstly the name I freaking love, but secondly it looks incredible, genuinely looks insane. At first I was a little bit concerned because it's really expensive, and I kind of thought like, how is anyone gonna afford to live there on a DCP wage? Because, not being funny, but you don't get paid a lot to work at Disney World. Like, really, like it was fine whilst we were there in terms of like the housing that we had, rest in peace Vista Way, but like Flamingo Crossings is so expensive, and whilst you know it should be because it is like luxury housing at the end of the day, I don't think they really considered like how much it would cost to be able to stay there. Like, people would have to save so much money just to be able to work in Disney World to afford to live there. However, I have since seen that Disney are upping their wages for college program applicants, which is really good. I don't know, like I haven't fact checked that, I've just seen it on Instagram, so I don't know like how true that is, and I also don't know how much that's going up in relation to like how much the housing cost will be, or like if there'll be a discount on housing. So I'm going to be really intrigued to see how people fund that and do that, and how like realistic it actually is, because I think that'll be a massive factor to when I like go to apply for the CRP, hopefully. Like, I want to know that I'm going to be able to actually afford to work there and live there, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see how that unfolds and develops. But yeah, Flamingo Crossings looks insane, but I am so sad to see the end of Disney housing, and that is the next thing I wanted to talk about. Honestly, it broke my heart when I saw that Vista was closing. For those of you who don't know, that's where I lived on my program. It's the oldest Disney housing complex. The other three, so Patterson, Chatham and the Commons, were all closed down last year and were all being sold on for like apartments, just like regular apartments, which I think is a good idea, honestly. Like, so it will be nice to see that the apartments are not being knocked down, they're being reused and repurposed, which I think is really nice, especially because they've been vacant for so long. Like, I do realistically think it was probably the right thing to do. As sad as it is to see them go, I do understand that they're trying to move everyone into Flamingo Crossings and like have that as like the main central hub for cast members, which again I like, because I feel like it's more of a community spirit and like a more like, it's easier to have everything in one place, isn't it? Like, if you've ever worked and lived in Walt Disney World, you'll know that the housing complexes aren't that close together, and they're also not that close to the parks, whereas I think Flamingo is a little bit closer, and obviously, like I say, everything will be in one place, which is really cool. So yeah, it's sad to see Vista and all the other complexes go, but it is the right thing to do. And Vista Way is so run down, like it is beige and just, yeah, it has its problems, and it's been around for a long time, and I think it does need, like, it probably is time for Disney housing to kind of step up a little bit. I also really like that they're giving people the opportunity to have a room by themselves if they want to, and they're also offering gender neutral accommodation, which I really appreciate. I think that's really helpful. I feel like that's something you don't really think about when you apply for this sort of thing, is like obviously the housing is gender specific, so you live in apartments with all girls or all guys, and I think that sometimes if you're not cisgender, then that's going to be a really difficult decision for you to make, and so I think it's really important and really good that they are taking a step in that direction, and kind of being a little bit more inclusive. So yeah, speaking of inclusive, I feel like I'm like segueing really nicely into this, and I'm really enjoying it, honestly. Let me know if you're enjoying this video, because I'm genuinely, this is filling me with so much joy talking about Disney and all of the things. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the new costume updates, which is really cool. So Disney announced that they're changing their costume policies for their cast members to be a lot more inclusive and a lot more flexible, which I really like. When I first saw the article, I was kind of taken aback a little bit, because my immediate reaction was, oh, but it's not traditional, or it's like breaking. I think my first reaction when I read the article, weirdly enough, was that I was kind of shocked they were breaking tradition and kind of going against something that was quite a big part of the company, honestly. Like, costuming is such a huge part of Disney, and I'm going to be honest, I really like that everyone looks the same, in the sense of their costumes all have to be the same, hair colours have to be quite neutral. I'm not one for that normally, but I think because of the whole like escapism and nostalgic aspect of Disney, I like that everyone kind of is very themed to where they're working. With that being said, however, once I kind of read the whole article, I realised that that's a really kind of backwards way of thinking, and actually it's a really good positive thing that they're doing, even from the standpoint of like being able to wear things that are like to do with your culture that maybe you wouldn't have been able to wear otherwise. You know, the idea of like you're able to have your nails painted, you're able to kind of have a bit more jewellery. Like, I do actually really like that. And again, I think before, the reason that I was a bit like taken aback by it was because that's not what we're used to, and I think change does need to happen whether we're ready for it or not. And yeah, I do think it's going to be a really positive thing, and even from like my own selfish point of view, I like that I'll be able to have my nails painted if I work in the parks again. I'm really someone who likes to have my nails painted. I really don't like to not have my nails painted. I like that I'll be able to have kind of a maybe unnatural hair colour. I say that, I've literally just dyed it dark brown. How more natural could you get? I like that my tattoos will be fine. Like, I knew that this tattoo and the one on my back of my arm would be fine if I was to work in the Rose and Crown, because the costume would cover them. However, it does mean that I'm less restricted. There's one that I want to get on my ankle, and it's kind of a bit of a bigger piece, and so I was originally going to wait until I potentially worked for Disney again before I got that tattoo. I want one maybe here, and I feel like it would be really nice to be able to get that and not have to worry that the way that I look is going to impact my application to work for Disney. I think that's, for me, like the biggest thing of it. Like, I know that not everyone will want to wear loads of jewellery when they go to work at Disney. Not everyone's going to want to like, not everyone is going to like, you know, really use the rules to their advantage and like go crazy with the way they look. I get that, because at the end of the day it's still a job and like people are just used to it. But I like that it won't hinder people from applying, and it won't stop people from applying because they have like a visible tattoo, for example. So yeah, as much as I was very torn in the beginning, I do think it's a really positive change, and I think it makes it a lot more inclusive and it makes people feel more comfortable, which at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So whilst we're on the topic of parks, Disneyland obviously reopened, which is really exciting. I honestly was so surprised that they left it this long to reopen, but I do know that the rules in California were quite strict with COVID, which I think is obviously really good, and good that they kind of left it until they genuinely thought it was safe to open. It's been really nice to see people's photos in California, and it's making me want to go even more. Like, I knew I wanted to go, but now I'm like desperate to go, so hopefully that will happen in the not too distant future. But I do also want to wait until the world is pretty much back to normal in like the best sense, before I go, because I want to kind of enjoy it to the full and have all the best experiences and be able to experience everything that it has to offer, rather than just like a restricted version, which I know is what they're doing right now. But I do think it is really good that they have reopened, and it kind of takes the pressure off of like worrying as well. Like, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I really worry that, like, I was really worried when, especially California, like when Disneyland hadn't reopened for an entire year, I was like, oh my god, what if they lose so much money that they can't reopen? Like, I know that wouldn't happen, but do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like almost personal that it's not reopened. But yeah, I'm really glad that they have, and obviously they're staying safe and sticking with the guidelines and stuff. And speaking of the guidelines, actually, something that was literally announced today as I'm filming this video, so maybe like last week by the time you've watched this, but something they literally have just announced is that from today you no longer have to wear a mask outside in Walt Disney World and in Universal, which, I don't know, that just blew my mind a little bit. I do think it's slightly too soon to be doing that, because I think America obviously are still a little bit behind in terms of like controlling COVID and, you know, getting it under control and vaccines and all that sort of thing. Like, I do think it might be a little bit too soon for that to happen. However, the reason that I'm very much for it is because I have experienced the Florida heat. I've experienced Florida in the summer, and I know how excruciating the heat can be. And I'm very aware that wearing a mask in 40-degree heat is actually quite an unrealistic ask to like ask people to do. So I think that actually Disney have probably done the right thing in terms of not wearing a mask, because ultimately germs die in hot weather. That's just like a fact. I think it would honestly be unsafe for people, especially people who aren't from Florida and they're not from a hot climate, to be expected to wear a face mask which makes you hot at the best of times, yet alone in 40-degree heat. I think that's actually really unsafe, and I was kind of expecting them to lift the restrictions before the summer anyway, because I know that like it is unrealistic to ask that of people. So I do think it is good. I'm glad that they are still enforcing them on like attractions and inside, because obviously you're safer outside without a mask on than you are inside anyway. And also when you're inside there's air conditioning and it does get a little bit easier, so like I do think that's still fair enough. But yeah, I am really glad to see that they have taken other health concerns into account in terms of like the heat and everything like that. And also it means that people can enjoy the park. They can enjoy the parks and feel like they're making the most out of it, especially when they're paying so much money to go. The last thing you'd want is to be passing out from heat exhaustion because you're having to wear a mask in 40-degree plus heat. So yeah, I am feeling optimistic that it's the right thing to do. I just really hope that it doesn't like backlash and it causes like a rise in cases or anything like that. Honestly, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know what the outcome will be, but personally I think that it's probably for the best they've done that, even if it does feel a little bit too soon. But with that being said, there's nothing to say that if you're going to a Disney park or Universal and you don't feel comfortable not wearing a mask, like you can still wear a mask if you choose to, which I like, and I feel like people will probably still be doing that for a while longer. But yeah, I think it's definitely the right thing to do. Even if it is a little bit too soon in terms of COVID, I think it's definitely the right decision to make going forward into the summer and into like warmer weather for sure. The only downside to the mask problem though is that they have said that cast members still have to wear masks at this time, which personally I don't agree with, because I think you shouldn't have one rule for cast members and another for guests. I think it should be equal. At the end of the day, from experience, cast members spend a lot more time outside than guests necessarily would. Like guests, if they get a bit hot, they can just go inside for a bit. Someone who, for example, the job that I did and when I was greeting outside, or if you're like, I don't know, like a park greeter or a pack or on parade, or like just something where you're like outside a lot, I think it's unfair to be asking cast members to still wear masks in the blistering heat when guests don't have to. I know that cast members like can get tested a lot easier, they can get their vaccines a lot easier, so I don't think it's fair that they should still have to wear masks. I think if they're in an indoor location, then fair enough that they should still have to, because again, guests also have to wear masks inside for now. But yeah, I do think it's a bit strange that they've done like one rule for one and another for another. Do you know what I mean? I just think cast members should also be given the choice to not have to wear a mask, because otherwise their jobs are going to get very difficult when it comes to the summer. Yeah, I feel really sorry for them. If you're a cast member watching this, I hope that you're doing okay, and please, if you are still having to wear a mask when it does get really hot and you're struggling, please make sure you do the right thing for you and you go inside and you drink lots of water and you find a shady spot if you can, like speaking from experience, if you need to go inside, you can, don't feel like you can't. Alright, and the final thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is a little bit of a rogue one, a little bit different from the parks and everything like that. We're going to talk Disney cruises. So, Disney Wish was unveiled, it looks incredible, I literally cannot even fathom that it's real, like it looks so cool. Disney Magic in the UK though, that was what I wanted to talk about. So they announced that a few months ago that the UK were going to get Disney cruises around the UK on the Disney Magic. We were like, great, perfect, sign us up. Me and some of my Disney friends applied for the registration for it so we could like get phone calls and stuff about, you know, like information and how to book. We were aware that it probably wouldn't be the cheapest thing in the world, but we were kind of okay with it and kind of ready to book it because we wanted a Disney experience. We don't know when Disneyland Paris is going to open, we don't know when the borders are going to properly open, so we were kind of ready to experience something Disney, and I feel like a Disney cruise is something that I do really want to experience. I'm not overly bothered about ever going on a cruise, so the idea of just doing it around the UK honestly was like perfectly fine for me. We're happy to go for like 2 nights. We were all ready to go, and then they announced that you have to be fully vaccinated to go on the cruise. Now of course I completely understand why that's a requirement. I think that's really important and I'm glad almost that they've done that. However, it does mean that the majority of the demographic for people potentially wanting to go on this cruise won't be able to go on it because they won't be vaccinated by July. Like, I reckon we'll get our first vaccines in July at the earliest, yet alone be fully vaccinated by the time the cruises are running. So it's a real shame that we're not going to get to do them, and I am a little bit gutted, I won't lie. And yeah, I do think it's interesting that like the majority of the demographic won't be vaccinated, because I think a lot of people that were wanting to go on the cruise were a lot of like childless adults, like my age. A lot of parents who have young children tend to be slightly younger, like in their 30s, and they might not be fully vaccinated by then. So I do think it is a little bit restrictive. I think maybe they should have done the sailings later in the year when they know more people are going to be vaccinated. But yeah, I don't know, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I'm completely for the vaccine and why that needs to be, and why that's a requirement for the cruise, but also like in terms of demographics and people that aren't gonna get to go and everyone that's gonna miss out on it, like I do think that's really disappointing. Alright you guys, I think I'm actually gonna end this video here because I'm aware that it's probably gonna be quite long and quite rambly. I really hope you did enjoy it. I hope that you were able to just stick it on in the background, or you know, get cozy if you wanted to sit and watch. Like I said, please do get involved in the comments, let me know your opinions on any of these topics. I don't think any of your opinions will be wrong. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. Do make sure that you are kind in the comments though, because that's really important. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this little series. If you have any topics you want me to talk about, then do let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to hopefully record them at some point. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you all again very soon with another video.